This is a follow-up video to one we did previously about setting aside or vacating a default judgment. And as we talked about in the last video, if you were served, then you have a very limited amount of time to try to undo or set aside a default judgment. But if you were not served, you have greater options, because being served is a requirement under the law in order to have a valid judgment. Now, what we often run into these is where the process server, the person that supposedly handed you the lawsuit, claims that they did that, and they'll write down the date. But if you know that you were not served and you can prove that, then that'll go a long ways toward setting aside that default judgment. So there's a couple options. We've had cases where somebody's been in the hospital in intensive care when they supposedly were served. Well, presumably the process server did not break into the ICU and hand papers to somebody who's unconscious. We've had people that have been able to prove they were out of the state or even out of the country when they were supposedly served. We've had people that can show that they had moved to a new location, a new house, and we get them to get power records, gas company records, telephone records. When did they start service? When did they get insurance on their new house? All these things to show that they in fact were not personally served. Now, as we mentioned in the last video, being personally served is not the only way to be served, but that's the normal way that people are served when we see a default judgment. So if you have a default judgment and you have gotten a copy of the service paper, and it'll normally say on there who served you and when you were served, and you know that that's not true, then certainly get with a lawyer to find out your options, but also start gathering the evidence to prove that you were not served and could not have been served on that day. Hope this has been helpful to you. If you live in Alabama and have any questions about this, please feel free to call us at 205-879-2447, or you can contact us through our website, alabamaconsumer.com. Thank you.